Hi, I'm Irving. Welcome to Captain Marvel.
And now back to Shazam!
Mentor and Billy are driving through the desert. Which desert, you ask? You should know better by now.
This particular desert is rich in Indian history.
Oh, that's the kind of history I like to see at closer range.
That's the elders calling to tell you where to pick up your tickets. Try not to be too rough on them about the word Indian. Nobody had come up with a better term yet. Most white people and others, especially city dwellers, had no idea what the situation or living conditions on the reservations was, and for the most part they didn't care. Out of sight, out of mind, as the expression goes. A lot of people still held on to the Old West attitude and called them Injuns or savages, that sort of thing. Eventually, we changed it from Indians to Native Americans, because as we all know, more syllables is always the answer. You think I'm kidding? Shell shock. Soldiers returning from World War I had it and nobody knew what to do about it. By the end of World War II, soldiers didn't have shell shock anymore. They had battle fatigue. That's twice as many syllables as shell shock, so we're getting closer. By the end of Vietnam, it was known as post-traumatic stress disorder. That's twice as many syllables as battle fatigue, and we now have enough syllables to think about ways to treat it. So that's the answer. You want to get something done? Make sure you give it a long enough name.
The desert sand of which you speak carries a message for all of us upon its ancient face, Billy.
A message, Solomon?
The eternal face of the desert mocks man's haste. The cactus grows slowly, but once grown, it stands tall for many years.
It stands tall, all right. We must be in Arizona somewhere because he's talking about the ever-popular saguaro cactus, which is the only one in America that grows that big.
Yeah, I never thought of the desert like that before, Zeus.
The desert has much to teach us, Billy. That's why it must be preserved for future generations to see and to know.
Billy wonders why the elders are so concerned about the desert changing since it's been the same for centuries.
Perhaps they're worried that it's going to be changed, Billy. By men.
Could happen. That's how we got Las Vegas and Phoenix and lots of other places I don't ever want to see again. Everything in Las Vegas is designed to separate you from your money, and everything in Phoenix is designed to melt you into a bubbling puddle of goo.
See for yourself, Granddad.
That's Johnny, a young Native American man who's been watching the two clowns in the Jeep. Not only are they joyriding on sacred lands, they're robbing them.
What about the other places?
They're hitting all of them. We'll be cleaned out before you know it.
They're going around digging up ancient artifacts from the original inhabitants and selling them on the black market. If they keep it up, pretty much the tribe's entire history will be wiped out.
Then we must tell the police.
This is something we have to take care of, Grandfather.
Why? The tribal police are equipped to handle it. They catch these guys looting, that's a crime. They can arrest and charge them. What can you do that's more effective than that?
Johnny!
He can get himself into a nice little predicament. That's what he can do. Grandfather goes for help.
It's my grandson. He's up on the ledge, and I need help to pull him off. Do you have any rope?
Sure.
While the joyriders continue their antics, the rest of them head off to rescue Johnny.
This way!
Those are the same rocks that were falling on Danny in episode 2. Let's hear it for reusable footage. Seriously, if you have it and it works, why not?
That's the boy. Here he comes.
In good TV fashion, the rope wore through on some sharp rocks and broke, sending Johnny plunging to the bottom of the cliff. Mentor was so filled with remorse he jumped after him. Grandfather Adam became Billy's new mentor once he recovered from the shock of meeting the elders. At the top, Billy and Mentor managed to get past the chip on Johnny's shoulder and find out what's bugging him.
Those guys out there are digging up the relics and taking them.
The desert has much to teach us, Billy. That's why it must be preserved for future generations to see and to know.
Billy was so into the flashback, he tried to reach out and shake hands with Solomon and walked right off the cliff.
We should let the law handle this.
Grandfather, You of all people should know better than this. This was once all Indian land, until the law came and took it away. Now what few relics we have left, what few valuables, they're digging up and carting off.
Johnny heads off to do something about it. We don't know what yet, so Billy tags along.
Yes. Oh, this ought to bring a nice price on the market. What's wrong, man?
Oh boy, stereotype time. One who's into it and one who isn't so sure. We're in a rut with that theme.
The collector's a freak over this Indian junk. We got ourselves a real find here.
I don't know, man. I just don't feel right about digging this stuff up. I mean, what if this is like some kind of ancient burial place or something?
Better for us. That kind of stuff brings heavy bread.
Heavy bread. Some people still hadn't gotten over the fact that the 60s ended. Johnny and Billy confront the looters and demand that they put the stuff back.
Look, this stuff has been sitting here for years. It's like buried treasure. Finders keepers. So bug off, man.
Okay, we'll bug off. Right to the police.
That shook them a little. Not so bad guy is scared. Bad guy is angry. But he's not done.
What's the matter, fellas? Scared?
He makes a few more passes until Mentor appears in the motorhome.
Did you see what they did, Grandfather?
I know, Johnny, I know. This is why it's more important now to tell the police about those boys.
You forget one thing, Grandfather. They're all on the same side. Billy, look, thanks. Thanks for trying. But I'd like to try this my own way.
When has that ever gone well? The next morning, Mentor and Billy are bringing coffee to Adam and Johnny, but nobody's home. It's not hard to guess where Johnny is. I'll say Johnny did it in the desert with the crescent wrench. His plan is to get under their Jeep and sabotage it.
Okay, we've got a good haul. Let's get out of here. Suits me fine.
He should know that never works for the good guys. As soon as he's looking forward, grab the bag of artifacts and carefully climb out. No, he stays there and they drive off, not knowing Johnny is in the back. Lucky for Johnny, Adam saw the whole thing and Mentor and Billy are on the way.
Johnny's in trouble. Those boys drove off with him hiding in back of their Jeep.
Which way do they go?
We'll head him off at the pass.
Towards the airport.
Of course. That would be the perfect way for them to get rid of the artifacts they dig up. Airlift them out. Hop in, Adam.
Mentor uses his mobile phone and calls the highway patrol.
Dump the stuff. We can come back for when things cool down. I said dump it.
Don't forget that nose right there. Nose? How'd they get away from the police car? However they did it, Johnny says, "Oh, no, you don't."
Get out of here, punk! Oh. Mentor, look! Hey, man!
Oh, yes, you do. Why did they pull him in instead of pushing him off? Because we needed an excuse to do this.
Shazam!
Billy, he's Captain Marvel.
Yes. And now that you know, we only ask that you keep our secret.
You have my word, Mentor.
The next week, Adam was driving a brand new car and Billy's story was in the Enquirer. While Johnny wrestles with the guys inside, Captain Marvel does his thing.
Can't do something! We're gonna crash!
It's hard to crash if you haven't taken off yet.
Let me out! Controls are frozen! I can't get any lift!
The two guys tell Captain Marvel they don't have any artifacts. Johnny verifies that they threw the bag out and he doesn't know where. As the looters are getting ready to leave, everybody else arrives, including the cop.
Hold it! Adam here has something I think you'll find very interesting, Captain Marvel.
Well, looks like you fellas have been doing some digging, huh? Nice likenesses.
He snuck out before Johnny did and caught him in the act. The officer takes them away. The gang puts the artifacts back in the ground where they were found. I'm not sure why, because now that they've been unearthed and the site has been disturbed, the best thing to do would be to turn the whole mess over to an archaeologist. But we're not preserving a heritage here, we're preserving the desert. Not only were these guys destroying a people's history, they were destroying the environment. Our focus is as much on that as on the artifacts. But attitudes like this help give rise to the famous maxim about hiking and such. Take only pictures and leave only footprints. In scuba diving, we say take only pictures and leave only bubbles. As a species, we were slowly starting to understand what we were doing to the only planet we had to live on, and environmental voices were starting to rise. It started slowly. This episode is a good example. We didn't do one strictly about preserving the desert environment. We needed to throw in the part about Indian artifacts. And overall, it got the point across. Hey, if it works, don't knock it. I'm Irving, and I'll see you next time on Captain Marvel.